Hello, I will demonstrate how to connect rslogix emulate 500 to advanced HMI. As you all know, rslogix 500 is an 500 emulation is a free software, and it is bundled with rslogix classic and rslogix microcontroller. So these three softwares are used for creating the ladder logic and also for the emulation of the real-time PLC. Next we have is the advanced HMI. It is a free software, but for running that you require Microsoft Visual Studio. You can find out any video in YouTube regarding installation of advanced HMI. Today our main concept is how to integrate the advanced HMI to rslogix emulate 500. So after a long study I was success in doing so. Here I will explain the steps. The installation of these three softwares, you can find out any other video on YouTube, and it is almost simple procedure. There is nothing hard in it. So I will start from the ladder logic. I am opening rslogix microcontroller. So I had already created a simple ladder logic. I had already saved in desktop folder. The name of that ladder logic is BBB. So I am clicking and opening it. So this is our program. So this is a simple run with one input. If you on this input, output will be on. There is nothing more complicated. So I will show the data file. Input. So input is I semicolon 0.0/1. That means this. And the output file is O semicolon 0.0/1. That is it. Presently both are showing 1 because the rung is in on position. So not now till I didn't download this program to my emulation PLC, that is rslogix emulate. First I am going to this and download the project. So before knowing this, I would like to say one thing, that this is rslogix classic. I click it open. I had already created communication configure drivers. So I had already created that emulation driver EMU 500 SLC 500 emulator, that is running. That is simple to add. Click here, click on that respective, because we are using the emulate driver because we are using rslogix 500 emulate. We didn't have we are not having a real hardware PLC. If you are using a real hardware PLC and if you are connecting with your COM port, then you have to use this RS232 driver. And similarly, if you are using Ethernet, then you have to Ethernet driver. You use Ethernet driver. But presently, this is just emulation. There is nothing outside the PC. All the programs and the virtual PLCs are running in my PC. I have to use the emulation driver, that is EMU. That is already running. I had already configured it earlier. So that's rslogix slide. Now I am going to the ladder logic again. I am going to offline. I am going to download. They are asking download the program. This is the virtual processor I am emulating, MicroLogix 1000. The driver for contacting this MicroLogix virtual PLC, MicroLogix 1000 virtual PLC, that is presently running on my PC, and the driver which is used to from communicate through RS links is EMU 500. That's I already explained. Now we click S. It is asking, do you want to go online? Yes. Now it is already online and it is in remote program mode. Now I am putting the processor to run. If you are really using the hardware PLC, then you have to go to the PLC and you have to physically switch on, change that switch to run mode. Now I can emulate that. I am toggling the bit. See, my input goes off, the output had gone off. Similarly, if I am toggling the bit, the green indicates that input is on, output is on. That is much now complicated. So once again I am going to the data table so that we can change the data from the data table. See, this is now 1. I am changing it to 0. So watch here, it will go to 0. So by this method also we can test or toggle our bits. 1 means I am toggling the bit from 0 to 1. So the value is getting changed here. So you can two ways for changing, toggling bit, right click and toggle bit. Otherwise you can directly go to data table and change the bit from there. So our we had proved that our PLC is working and the PLC is connected to the rslogix emulate 500. Actually this is the emulator PLC showing. That is this is actually you are using the emulate here, otherwise you will use hardware PLC. If you are using hardware PLC, then this software will not be there. Now it is on the name of the program and the station where it is running, that is 01. Now before going to this is important step, this is station 1, this is rslogix emulate 500. The third software I had shown already in the desktop. One is that rslogix micrologic, from where we create the ladder logic. Other is that RS links, that communication driver. The third one is rslogix 500 emulate. This is the emulate PLC emulating software. So it is running that this ladder program is running here. So you can go to settings. This setting is I am now onwards I am going to connect this PLC to this advanced HMI. For that, settings, emulation. So actually while initially you are creating that program, you should have to give the station 1 for this, nothing else, station 1, and it's okay. Then channel 0 data highway. Now you have to set this to home 3. I will explain what is this home 3 here, and the baud rate is 9600, and you have to give OK. Then I am explaining the COM ports here. Since my laptop is standalone, it is not connected to any hardware through COM port, and even my laptop doesn't have a COM port, but I had selected COM. I had selected COM 3. I will explain from where I had got this COM port. I am minimizing all these things. Now for connecting this, you have to have, for using the HMI, you have to have an RS232 port, but since I am not having any hardware or port, I am using a RS232 emulator software. I had already installed it. I will tell the name of the software. See, this is the name of the software is COM0com. It is an open source software. You can create a virtual pair. I had created a pair by adding a pair. This COM3 is COM4, it's a pair. Means you assume that COM3 is in this PC and COM4 is in the real PLC. So since we doesn't have a real PLC here, we will send the data through COM3 and we will communicate between advanced HMI through COM4. I will show the PDF file of that help file of that COM0COM. You can easily download it from net by googling it. So basically I am going to that page. This is a single PC. For example, if a PC has two programs and both program can only communicate to RS232 port, so for emulation purpose you doesn't have an RS232 port, so you are creating a virtual port pair. See, virtual serial port have a CNIX and CBX at default name. The default name can be changed. For example, this is COM0 and this is COM1. Similarly, I had created a COM3 and COM4 so that data can flow through this port from one program to other. This is the help file of this COM0COM software. It is an open source and a license under GPL, so you can easily download it from the net. So I am closing it. So I had already created a virtual pair COM3 and COM4. This pair will be also shown in your device manager. You can go to device manager, and since your laptop doesn't have a real COM port, however, since I had installed a virtual driver for this, the COM port and LPT, if you expand, you can see serial port emulator. This is the name of that software, and I had personalized the name to COM3 and COM4. So it is showing under the device manager. That is, your PC is now having two COM ports, one sending data and other receiving data. So now I am going to advanced HMI. I had already installed Visual Studio 2010. You can install trial version, and I had downloaded advanced HMI beta version, that is beta version, latest version, that I had extracted it. This is a zip file. I had extracted it. I double click to open, then nothing to do. Here is an icon, double click on it. But the prerequisite is that you have to download and install Visual Studio, whether free version or any version you can install, but the requirement of, so let's take a little bit of time. We'll wait. Actually, I had already created earlier a program. I will explain based on that program. Basically, I had created a HMI. Just I had this is the advanced HMI. This is a Visual Studio page, and this is the advanced HMI. We had opened that page. I will just first run and see how it is working, and I will explain the requirements, what to do after a bit. So I had created, how I will create a drag and drop this, I will show you later. First I am testing it. Yeah, it's working. See, I am pressing the start button. That is a red indication showing that motor is off. If I am pressing the start button, it turns green. That means motor is running. So I will show you the PLC page of that. This is our PLC running. So this is on, input is on, output is on. I'm once again actually it not to be stopped. I am toggling the bit. I had click this. See, input is off, output is off, motor is off. Start. Input is on, output is on, motor is on. Once again I am toggling the bit. Click, motor turns off. Similarly, you can create beautiful HMI using this. Since all these things are free, it is best for practicing yourself and creating good and better, good looking programs. So I am closing and I am explaining what are things you do. First of all, when you are minimizing all these things, first of all, when you open this form, this will not be only, this page will be open from the toolbox. First, toolbox, the top of the toolbox, all the communication drivers, you can connect a DF1 connection using RS232. Presently I am also using that. You can use TwinCat PLC, and there are many other communication drivers. So I am presently using DF1 COM. So I had clicked and dragged this to here. I had done it earlier. This is I had clicked and dragged. DF COM1 is by default name of that. That is a driver. We had click and drag from the toolbox to this main page. If we click here, we can get the properties of this DF1 connection here. First, I will show the name of DF1. Second thing is that I had to set that baud rate to 9600. See, I will show you from where I had done. This is the emulate software. We had already explained that we are running that BBB ladder program here. We have to go to settings, and we should keep remember that the station should be 1. Now channel 0 data highway. This is COM3. The next end of the port is COM4. The baud rate is 9600. The baud rate is 960. It should match. And the error detection type this is CRC. This is all what you have to do for this. Again, I am showing the properties. Remember, COM. This is a pair. Second port of the pair which I had created. I had created a pair using virtual port emulator. COM3 and COM4 I had created. The COM3 I had used in that emulate software for one end, and second end I had used COM4 for advanced HMI, and the baud rate 9600 and default name is DF1 COM. So this is all about the configuration. Nothing more you have to do about the configuration of this. This is the main communication driver. This is all you have to do it. Second, about the switches. This thing I had dragged and dropped from. For example, I will show you. Pilot light, for example. I drag. Simple. This is just I am showing it. I had already configured this. Then I will explain accordingly this. If we click this, and the property of that, this is the button, momentary button. The name of the button is momentary button. Change the text to start. So the things you have to change is button color is green automatic. Output type is toggle. Since I had made my PLC. Since I had made my PLC toggle, I am hearing also I am toggling the value. So sorry, that you need not to do. So I will show you. The text start. What do you want to what here? You enter just here. I just entered start for here, and the color of that text, that is maroon. Next is the button color is green. See, this is green, and the communication component is df communication component df1 is that is automatically taken by the system. You have not to enter this, but this is important. PLC address click, this is the value of the input button of the PLC. I will explain here. This address, if you click the mouse, this is the address semicolon 0.0/1. The same without error I had entered here, nothing else. Second thing is, if you are for any input, we have to give the address, PLC address click. In that place we have to give the address. For output, for example, this is the input. We are pressing the start button, motor is getting on. The motor is the output. So if you are clicking the motor, then we have to say that the light color is, by default, light color is green. That means if the output is on, then it is green. If the output is off, light color off, it is red. Now it is not showing, it is on the default color. That default is off, so it is showing the red. So next is that PLC address click, PLC address text. So in case of input, we had entered the value here, but this is the motor is output, so we have to enter the value here. Enter the PLC address, that is O semicolon 0.0/1. I will show you. This is the address. So this is the address. See, 0.0/1. So this is a point to remember. The what color you want to change. That if the input is on, if the PLC address right value is the address value. If it is true, then it will be green. If it is false, it will be red. So that's all we have to configure. After doing that, now I am deleting this. You have to build the project, and you have to plus F5, or you have to click this button. So I am clicking it. It takes a bit of time. So this is the Visual Studio is running now. So this is the start button. I had already shown you. See, if you are clicking the start, now it is on. This green indicates it is on. Output is on. Means this green output is on. One click, the bit is toggled, and this is off. This is off. The motor turns to red. That means motor is off. I hope all of you understood what I mean to show. I had a main deep search about it. After that, I had got this. Main thing is that there is a PDF here. You start PDF. It is explaining the basic steps. Sorry, you can copy it, and you can get it. Now it is showing some error, but this explains the procedure. But if you follow my procedure which I had explained, important thing is that the rslogix emulator, you used it COM0COM software. This is open source. There are many emulator software which is paid, but that is the trial version is not supporting this. I had experimented it, so this is the best one. It is working for me. I had already shown to you. So that's all about the PLC and advancedhmi. Similarly, you can create complicated projects, complicated ladder logics, and many good displays with digital pan meter, start, stop, timers, all things. You can create a good HMI. I am also in the process of creating a good HMI. So guys, I hope all of you understand the basic concept. Thank you for watching. Thanks.